IT department what he thought would work best. And he came up, he's our guy who buys all of our computers and tablets, and this is what he recommended. I have no preference. I don't care what they give me. Just want something that works with the drone.
Yeah.
Oh, and the Cable Access, I think, has an iPad. They have a bigger drone. In fact, they're the ones giving us, they're not really using the smaller drone, Phantom. And so they're giving us that to use. And they use an iPad with their drone.
We just got one, and I know it's either, you can use both on it. So we're using an Android just because you can change out the memory cards, you know.
Oh, nice.
But
So
this would have cell service.
We can fund the drone with existing funds that are around between some different accounts?
We could make it work. Yeah. Kathy emailed me. I gave her the application, and she's like, yeah, because we were waiting to see how much it would come in at. Yep. Kathy's like, we have the $1,000 as long as we don't use it.
I sort of related, but I remember from the last agenda from August, some of the expenditures, like on the, maybe this was the next thing, so I apologize, for like the vehicle for the police department was being reviewed by town council.
Yes.
I'll table my question, but the money thing made me think of it.
They reviewed the tree, because remember the Ball Street tree removal, we had to get that reviewed. We had to get the ATV, the reward, and the trail cameras, and everything but the reward was considered an allowable expense. The reward is not an allowable expense.
Thank you.
So it sounds like the $40,000 is not going to happen.
That's fine. I'm fine with it. You guys asked me to think of what we could possibly need in the next year. And so I came up with these two.
Can we get the drone without the application still?
I think so.
Sorry, the tablet?
Yeah. Go if you want to apply. I'm not against the drone, the tablet for the drone. I think that falls within my keep it small mandate. You just have to keep in mind, I vote against a lot of stuff, and I'm usually the only vote against it. So it's going to look a little weird when I start trying to push stuff.
When can we actually spend this money? When should we actually? July?
The money gets released July 1st.
We'd like to get that drawn up before July.
Yeah. We just use my cell phone or the Samsung till then, and just do basic, not large video recordings, that kind of thing.
Or we find $1,200 kicking around in various accounts and buy one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So we don't have to apply for this. I won't be heartbroken if you don't want to move forward with either one. I just didn't want to miss the opportunity.
Yep. Okay. I think unless anybody has other opinion, it sounds like we're going to say zero for this. We did get 120 grand last year, so that was a big number. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the consensus is don't move forward with either. That's fine. It's less work.
Mia,
yeah.
I would say on the tree situation, if there's a way to get that out in public for people to be thinking about trees that they could remove, because if they get to them early on, being one who has umpteen dozen pine trees around my house, and over the course of the 40 years that we've lived here, probably taken down like $20,000 in trees. I have sympathy for people, but it's also their responsibility to start looking at their property and see what they can do too. Maybe some help along that way for people to understand that.
We do get a lot of calls, like a lot, and it's usually me or DPW, because the town is getting tighter. There's no.
It's not just that. If you walk along, like I do, walk around my neighborhood, there must be at least 10 more trees just on Newton Street from either end of Sherilyn that need to come down because they're dead. And I know that's a quantity of trees. Scott took down one big tree on Sherilyn for me this year. And I look, in the back parts of the properties, if you can see where all the pines are and everything, and watch them swing and sway in the breezes way, it's, it's kind of hard for people because they're expensive, but they need to look at it. The
Mhm.
town can just encourage them to be ahead of it.
We get calls every week and people,
Sure.
because you're right, it's very expensive. And so usually the call is, this tree is a hazard tree. It's going to fall on my house. Can you please come? And the town does not have insurance to enter onto private property. So that's why we had to get Templeman to do this one, because it has to be accessed from 17 Cary Craig to do the work. There's no way to get in from our Edmund Hill property. And then the same thing, the DPW has a contractor, Templeman, to take out any trees that abut municipal land to private property. But anything they can get at from municipal land, DPW does themselves. They don't have a crane. So if they reach that level, they have to have Templeman.
Yeah.
But the town doesn't even have insurance for the equipment to enter the private property. So most of the time the calls are, the town needs to come and take this tree from my property. And we only take the ones from the right of way.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Informal discussions. Mount Pisgah, meeting calendar, and representation of the commissions.
Okay. Mount Pisgah, I think I told you we got approval to buy the trail cameras and the signs and the ATV, but still haven't been able to move forward on actually getting any of them. It's kind of a lengthy process to try to figure out how to get it in hand. Lots of red tape. And the Trails Committee voted on Monday to name that connector between the Loop Trail and the Sparrow Trail. They would name it the Johnson Trail after, are you familiar with Betty Tatro? I believe she made our butterfly garden on Watson Park.
Sure.
She grew up on a farm over on Green Street that was known as the Johnson Farm. So that's why they chose the name, the Johnson Trail. And that's going to go on the map. CMRPC did come out and do the mapping. They rerouted the Sparrow Trail twice because, did I tell you someone put it all back? So the Boy Scouts went out and cut in the new trail and then completely covered the old trail with lots and lots and lots of trees and branches. And about 10 days later, someone went out and completely cleared the old trail and covered the new trail with lots and lots and lots and lots of branches, like beyond what I could do. So two Trails Committee, Brian Belfar and Jamie DeSottles, a local fireman, they went out and volunteered and cleared the whole thing again. And I reblazed it, and Trails Committee took it upon themselves to put up some signage because they felt like it was a waste of time. I agree with them.
It might not have been a nefarious effort. It might have been somebody who thought somebody else had done something and they tried to bring it back.
Maybe that's what we think. Maybe it was just someone trying to help out with a lot of time and energy on their hands. So
any more signs of activity, of tree cutting or?
Yeah. It's funny. People cut along that old trail. They cut like some 6-inch trees, little trees along that new trail and widened it, or the old trail. So people are still cutting. I do have an order in for signs. I know it's getting late, so you probably don't want to look at the signs. They just say, not a trail, leads to private property, and this area is under surveillance. The chief of police says we have to have signs that say this area is under surveillance to put up the trail cameras.
If God approves the signs, I'm fine with that. So.
Okay.
Good.
So maybe you could vote to spend the money on the signs up to $300. I think we're going to take it out of, actually, it's going to probably come out of that land management. So
where'd the rest of the funds come from? Because the ATV was 10, right?
That's coming out of the conservation fund.
And the cameras are 900 a piece times.
No, 100 a piece.
Okay, 100. Times 9. Okay, all right.
Yeah, times 6. So up to
right.
You actually voted already up to $600 to spend on the cameras.
Just to kind of rekindle give some of the discussions earlier here today about funding.
Yeah.
Okay, so we need a motion to spend the money on signs.
So moved.
Seconded
by Kelly. Roll call vote. Diane Gouldner.
Yes.
Kelly Marston.
Yes.
Dan Clark.
Yes.
Todd Helwig.
Yes.
And I will vote yes.
Thank you.
Meeting
I think
calendar.
that's everything on Pisgah. I drafted a meeting calendar for next year. It's mostly the second Mondays. I can send it out. I think my computer's working now. I can pull it up if you'd like, and you can just vote on it. It's going to be subject to change because if we're still in this mess, do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Gotta put a stake down someplace, so.
Yep, we got to start somewhere. So this is the calendar for next year.
Okay.
And so you see, I moved you to a couple Wednesdays, like in January, February, where it will coincide with the Board of Selectmen. And then I'm assuming we're going to be back to the second Monday come March and in
Okay.
person. So this is my optimistic calendar.
Fair enough. Glasses half full approach. That's fine. Okay.
Okay. And I'd like to put this on the website because people, we're already at November. So it's
Yep.
time to put up next year's calendar. So if you think it's okay, if you go ahead and vote for it. Otherwise, let me know any changes.
Is there a motion?
I motion we approve the calendar as it is shown.
Second,
Seconded by Todd. Roll call vote. Diane Gouldner,
Yes.
Kelly Marston,
Yes.
Dan Clark,
Yes.
Todd Helwig,
yes.
and I vote yes.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you. Then Conservation Commission representatives with a
Yes.
new member tonight. The Conservation Commission has representatives on Open Space Committee, Earthwork Board, and Groundwater. Currently, I wish Tom was here because last month Tom had said he was considering going to Open Space. You
Let's hold off till Tom's here then, if that's the case.
you can hold off, and then Earthwork is Tom currently, and Groundwater is Diane.
Right.
So Dan, are you planning on continuing to serve on Open Space?
That was my plan, I guess. I hadn't considered leaving, so.
Dan can take this spot.
Well,
Dan, you-
Kathy said he could stay and Tom could go as the conservation because
Oh, okay.
Dan's already been appointed by the Board of Selectmen
Fine. Okay.
as one of their appointees.
And
And
let's
so,
wait. Let's wait till Tom's here next month, hopefully.
okay.
Go from there. Anything else going on?
There was something.
We should see West Street next month, right? That NOI.
They said that. We'll see. It's up to them.
Okay.
The Trails Committee has asked to so remember the Edmund Hill, the reroute around the private property. We put in switchbacks because those straight up and down trails cause erosion. So it has been really well received. I mean, just people are writing and commenting all the time that they love this new trail, that it's longer, that they're accessing more features. Actually, a lot of geologic features on Edmund Hill. There's like a magnolia tree, this huge cucumber magnolia tree, and these crazy geologic features that we're starting to access. And so the Trails Committee has asked to begin the process of rerouting the other side from the summit down to the senior center, the summit trail, with a zigzag switchback. They won't be cutting anything in. They'll just be hanging flags, and then they'll come back once it's in and ask you to walk it and approve the new route. But if you see the flags out there, and if you're completely against it, please let me know so I can tell them not to move forward.
Anybody completely against it?
No.
No.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, so they'll move forward on it. So you might see some flagging out there. And Forrest Lyford, he's a geologist, so he's going to really pull in some of those key features.
I love switchbacks.
All the mountain
I
bikers love it.
don't-
Everybody loves it. So who knew? And in addition, that summit trail is starting to erode because it's a straight up and down.
Mhm.
So that was going to have to be considered anyway.
Anything else, Mia?
That is everything I have. So I'll just say
Okay.
it's okay to flag.
Any commissioners have anything you want to bring up? Any comments or?
I'm going to be more remote next month, but I'm still going to be at the meeting.
We'll hear wind blowing in the background and
Pretty much.
good for you. Good. Okay, fine. November meeting's the 21st. Anybody have a known conflict at this time?
I think it's the 16th. Let me double check.
I'm just reading your notes, Mia.
I
It said
know. I think I put
21st.
it wrong. Sorry. Let's see.
21st is a Saturday.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's not that. It is November 16th.
Okay. Any known conflicts? Some things come up, obviously, but
Nope.
no. Okay.
And don't forget to comment on the draft open space plan. It's ready for your comments. We're going to move pretty fast. So we've been doing this a long time due to COVID. So we're going to try to wrap it up.
Is it online?
It is. If you go, I
Mhm.
just made a banner item on all three of our websites, the trails, conservation, and open space. I put a banner item so you can get right to it.
Okay.
Very good. Kelly,
What-
you're gonna say something.
Yeah. Just so I'm not late again. What time is the meeting on the 16th? Is it an early one or is it back to 7?
It's up to you
I think we're
guys.
at 6 o'clock going forward, Mia, right?
It's up
Is
to
it
you.
6?
That work for folks? That 6 o'clock work good for everybody?
It gets me out of making dinner. I love it.
Yeah, that's good. Good time.
Good. Okay. Yeah, it's a long one today. You know, see, Justin, he jinxed us when he said, "Oh, this is going to be a piece of cake. You're not going to miss much." Oh, sure. Okay. We all know better. All right, we're good. Need a motion to adjourn then.
So moved.
Is there a second? Is there a second?
I did.
Okay.
For
Second by
remote.
Kelly. Roll call vote. Diane Goldner,
Yes.
Kelly Marston,
Yes.
Dan Clark,
Yes.
Todd Helwig,
Yes.
and I vote yes.
All right.
Mia,
Thank you.
thank you.
All
Till
right.
next time.
Thanks.
See you